In a kingdom kissed by perpetual autumn, the air was always crisp with the scent of fallen leaves and warm spices. In the heart of this kingdom stood a grand castle, where young Prince Alder had grown up, surrounded by stories of magic and wonder. But hidden behind the golden halls and glittering chandeliers was a secret the kingdom had long whispered about in hushed tones: the curse of the amber pumpkin. Every heir to the throne, once they reached their 17th autumn, risked being transformed into a pumpkin by an ancient enchantment if their heart had not yet proven itself pure and brave. Alder had lived with the shadow of this curse all his life. On the day of his 17th birthday, just as twilight stretched its fingers across the castle towers, the enchantment awakened. In an instant, he felt his body harden, smooth into a rounded form, and shrink into the shape of a pumpkin glowing faintly with golden light. But the curse had one mysterious loophole. Each night, when the moon reached its highest point, Alder would regain his human form for a few hours. During these fleeting moments, he roamed the forest surrounding his home, silent and cautious, knowing that his very existence depended on surviving the nights until the curse could somehow be lifted. On the first night, as he wandered through the misty woods, Alder stumbled upon a soft glow, not far from a babbling brook. Sitting on a moss-covered stone was a young princess, cloaked in sapphire blue, her hair shimmering in the moonlight. She was Princess Lyra from a neighboring kingdom, known for her gentle heart and curiosity about the enchanted forests that bordered her lands. Neither spoke a word, yet both understood that magic had drawn them together. Alder's golden glow flickered, revealing the edges of his curse, and Lyra's eyes widened, recognizing the traces of ancient enchantment she had only read about in her grandmother's stories. Instead of fear, she showed trust. They approached each other slowly, their hearts attuned to the unspoken bond forming between them. That night marked the beginning of an unusual alliance. Together, they ventured deeper into the forest, where silver mist clung to the trees like delicate lace. The forest, alive with magic, held its breath as the duo encountered their first challenge, a tangle of whispering vines that shifted as if aware of intruders. They wrapped around branches, roots, and stones, forming an intricate maze. Lyra, sensing the pattern, began to hum a soft melody she had learned from her mother. Her voice carried a soothing magic that calmed the restless vines, allowing Alder to slip through with his pumpkin body, rolling carefully but swiftly, then transforming back into human form once the vines cleared. They emerged on the other side, breathless but triumphant. From the safety of a clearing bathed in moonlight, they realized the forest had tested them, gauging their courage, teamwork, and the strength of their hearts. Alder felt a warmth that had nothing to do with the curse, his heart lighter than it had ever been, buoyed by the presence of the princess, who understood the impossible circumstances he faced. As dawn approached, Alder began to fade back into pumpkin form, his golden surface glowing dimly. Lyra gathered him gently, cradling the magical pumpkin as she whispered encouragement. She promised, though no words were needed, that she would help him find a way to break the curse. Their bond, forged on that first night, grew stronger than any magic that sought to keep them apart. The second night arrived, draping the kingdom in deep indigo shadows. Alder, once again freed from his pumpkin form by the rising moon, rolled quietly through the castle garden and made his way to the forest's edge, where Lyra awaited him. Without a word, they stepped into the woodland, where no path was fixed and magic shaped their every turn. The forest greeted them with rustling leaves and whispering branches. Moonlight filtered through the canopy, creating pools of silver on the mossy floor. But beneath this beauty lurked unseen eyes. Every step awakened ancient magic, and the pair felt a tingling mix of wonder and caution. Their first challenge appeared as a creature emerged from the shadows. The shadow vine wraith, a spectral being made of twisting vines, tipped with glowing amber thorns. It moved silently, radiating a cold, demanding presence. They could not pass unless they proved their courage and wisdom. Lyra stepped forward, drawing a tiny crystal prism blessed with morning light magic. She caught the moonlight through it, splitting the beam into soft, shimmering hues. The wraith recoiled with a soundless hiss. Alder extended his own golden glow, allowing his cursed magic to mingle with Lyra's light. Together, they balanced their powers into a delicate tapestry that wrapped the wraith in warmth rather than force. The creature softened, then vanished into a swirl of amber leaves. Breathing a sigh of relief, Alder and Lyra continued deeper into the forest, their trust in one another growing with every step. They crossed bridges made of twisting roots, waded through streams that glimmered with liquid moonlight, and walked beneath trees whose leaves shimmered like starlight. Every obstacle felt enchanted, not meant to harm them, but to teach a lesson, test their bond, or measure their patience and courage. Alder learned to trust Lyra's instincts, while Lyra learned to rely on the quiet strength hidden within Alder's cursed heart. Halfway through the forest, they reached a clearing unlike any they had encountered before. Moonlight poured over an ancient stone circle, etched with faint runes that pulsed in a slow, steady rhythm. At the center lay a perfectly still pool of water, reflecting the night sky like a mirror. The moment Alder stepped near, the golden glow of his curse thrummed, as if the circle's magic was calling to it. Lyra sensed immediately that this pool marked their next trial. As they moved closer, soft ripples spread across the water, and a towering figure rose. A pumpkin golem, larger than any tree, formed from twisted vines and anchored by a glowing core, much like Alder's cursed form. Its amber eyes watched them calmly. It wasn't hostile like the shadow vine wraith. Instead, it carried the gentle weight of judgment. This trial demanded more than bravery. It required compassion and unity. Lyra knelt by the pool, dipped her hands into the cool water, and let it drip over the golem's vine-like feet. Alder stepped forward, extending his glowing hands, allowing the warmth of his golden curse to mingle with the creature's soft light. Slowly, the golem lowered its massive arms and bowed its head, acknowledging their combined courage and harmony. The stone circle vibrated softly, releasing waves of gentle magic through the clearing. For the first time, Alder felt calm within the curse, an understanding that it no longer saw him as an enemy, but as someone worthy of its trust. They rested in the clearing, catching their breath as fireflies gathered around them, floating like tiny lanterns. The forest seemed to exhale, alive with a quiet approval. In that moment, Alder felt a warmth deeper than magic, a warmth shaped by trust, bravery, and the growing bond with Lyra. But even in this moment of peace, they knew the journey was far from over. The curse remained unbroken. The trials had only begun. Deeper in the forest lay the heart of the enchanted grove, the source of the curse's strongest pull. They would have to face it together, relying on their shared wisdom, strength, and magic. And in the soft glow of the clearing, they silently understood that their true adventure was only beginning. As the moon climbed higher, Alder felt the familiar tug of the curse return, reminding him that his time as a human was fading. Lyra gently picked up his pumpkin form, carrying him through the forest's safer paths. In the quiet between trials, they planned their next steps, silently promising to face every challenge side by side. By the time dawn touched the treetops, they had survived their first night of true trials. Though the forest still held mysteries and dangers, Alder and Lyra had taken their first real step toward breaking the curse, and toward a bond that no darkness, no magic could sever. By the third night, Alder and Lyra had grown accustomed to the rhythm of the curse. Each evening, the prince transformed from a pumpkin into a human, under the moon's silver gaze, and each night brought them deeper into the heart of the enchanted forest. The bond between them had strengthened. Trust and companionship now flowed as naturally as the streams that shimmered in the moonlight. Yet, the forest's challenges were becoming far more complex, testing not just courage, but creativity, intuition, and the strength of their hearts. The moon hung high and full, casting a silvery sheen across the landscape. As they ventured further, the air grew thick with magic, and the trees began to shift subtly, their roots rising like gentle waves across the forest floor. Here, the enchantments were alive in a more tangible way. Glowing orbs hovered mid-air, and whispers of ancient spells drifted on the breeze, guiding them, and sometimes misleading them, toward the forest's deeper secrets. Suddenly, a chill spread through the air. The whispers became louder, more urgent. Out of the shadows emerged a forest titan, an enormous creature of living wood, its bark rough and knotted, eyes glowing faintly like amber embers. Branches twisted like arms, leaves rustling with each movement. The titan did not speak, but its sheer presence radiated authority and challenge. The forest trembled beneath its weight. Alder's glow flared instinctively, warning that this was a trial of the most dangerous sort. Lyra took a step forward, feeling the pulse of magic emanating from the titan. They approached cautiously, noticing a circle of stones around the titan, etched with glyphs that shimmered faintly. The creature moved slowly, positioning itself at the center. It was not attacking, but it demanded a demonstration of true courage. Alder realized that brute force or magic alone would not suffice. This was a test of heart and ingenuity. Lyra reached into her pouch and retrieved a vial of moonlight dew, a rare liquid said to amplify the natural harmony of the forest magic. She poured a small drop on the ground, and the dew spread in a silver shimmer across the stone circle. Alder mirrored her movements, tracing patterns in the air with his hands, letting the golden glow of the curse flow outward. Their combined magic intertwined, creating a luminous bridge of silver and gold arcs over the titan. The titan shifted its massive limbs, observing. Then, in a sudden movement, it raised one arm, and a barrier of thorned roots erupted from the ground, blocking the forest path. Alder felt panic rise. If the roots continued to grow unchecked, he could become trapped and fail to return to human form before dawn. Lyra's eyes met his, and in that moment, they understood. Cooperation and trust were the only way forward. They combined their magic in a new way. Lyra's moonlight dew glimmered as she channeled her energy into the roots. Alder's golden glow pulsed in rhythm with the forest, reaching into the very veins of the titan's ancient wood. The roots began to retract, curling back into the earth, leaving the path clear. The titan lowered its head slightly, acknowledging their bravery and unity. The air shimmered with approval as the forest accepted their triumph. But the challenges were far from over. As they ventured further, the whispering winds carried a new danger. The harvest wraiths, lost spirits of the cursed pumpkin heirs who had failed to break the curse centuries ago. These spectral beings swirled like fog, their faint amber glows flickering erratically. The wraiths were neither hostile nor forgiving. They tested the purity of intent and the depth of emotion within Alder's heart. Each spirit approached silently, presenting visions of fear, regret, and doubt. Alder felt the pull of the curse intensify. The more the wraiths lingered, the harder it became to maintain his human form. Lyra held his hand firmly. Her presence anchored him, grounding him against the tide of fear. She used her magic to weave a protective circle of light, pushing back the wraiths gently without harming them. Together, they navigated the haunted glade, Alder's golden glow steadying the frightened spirits, Lyra's light guiding them to peace. One by one, the wraiths vanished, leaving only faint glimmers of gratitude behind. Exhausted but undeterred, they finally arrived at the heart of the enchanted grove, a secluded glade dominated by a colossal, glowing tree whose roots pulsed with the same amber magic as Alder's curse. The air vibrated with power. The energy here was raw, ancient, and overwhelming. Alder's heart raced, for he sensed that the source of the curse was here. Lyra's hands glowed faintly, and she drew upon every bit of knowledge she had gained from her studies of forest magic. As they approached the heart tree, the ground trembled. The curse itself manifested as a swirling vortex of amber mist, reaching for Alder, attempting to bind him forever in pumpkin form. The prince struggled, but Lyra stepped forward, channeling both her moonlight dew and her own innate magic. She created a stream of silver light that wrapped around the amber tendrils, pushing them back with gentle yet unyielding force. Alder joined her, directing his golden glow into the center of the vortex. Their combined magic, silver and gold intertwined, fought against the curse's pull. The vortex resisted violently, throwing up walls of shadows and streams of fiery leaves, but the two worked in perfect unison. Lyra's calm, steady presence and Alder's courage sustained the spell, gradually weakening the curse's hold. After a tense and exhausting struggle, a blinding flash of warm light erupted from the heart tree, sending ripples of magic across the entire grove. The amber mist dissipated, the curse's energy collapsing into a single glowing seed that hovered in the air. Alder, exhausted but unharmed, felt the final threads of the curse dissolve. The pumpkin curse was broken. The forest exhaled a long, gentle sigh. Leaves shimmered, fireflies danced, and the heart tree's glow softened into a warm, golden light. The harvest wraiths, now freed, drifted peacefully toward the sky, their forms dissolving into glittering specks of starlight. The Titan bowed deeply, and the pumpkin golem knelt briefly in acknowledgement. The forest itself had recognized their bravery, compassion, and unity. Alder and Lyra stood together in the clearing, breathing in the tranquil night air. The prince no longer felt the tug of transformation. His human form was permanent. Lyra smiled, her eyes reflecting both relief and pride. Together, they had faced the forest's deepest magic, the most formidable creatures, and the curse itself, and they had emerged victorious. As dawn approached, the first light of morning bathed the grove in soft gold. The adventure of the forest was over, but the bond forged between prince and princess had only deepened. They knew that their journey would continue back in their kingdom, where Alder would reclaim his throne and Lyra would stand beside him, both as a partner and as a guardian of magic and harmony. After overcoming the trials of the enchanted forest, Alder and Lyra began their journey back to the kingdom. The curse had weakened, and the prince no longer feared his transformation. Even the creatures they once battled appeared briefly, as if offering their approval before fading into the woods. When the castle came into view, Alder felt the final tug of the curse. Lyra led him to the moonlit garden to perform the last ritual. Kneeling side by side, they traced a magic circle and placed the moonlight dew at its center. Their voices blended in a steady chant, Lyra's soft silver magic and Alder's warm golden light merging into a sphere of shimmering energy. Shadows of past failures appeared, trying to hold Alder back, but the two stayed focused. Slowly, the amber threads of the curse unraveled and dissolved. With one final burst of light, the curse was completely broken. The castle bells rang, birds soared, and the kingdom seemed to exhale in relief. Crowds filled the streets to welcome Alder home. Lyra walked beside him, their bond clear to everyone watching. The king and queen embraced their son, overjoyed that the generations-old curse had finally ended. At sunset, Alder and Lyra were crowned together. Lyra became the princess of the Harvest Realm, honored for her courage and wisdom. Later that night, they returned to the garden, now simply two partners walking forward with shared purpose. Under their reign, the kingdom flourished. Every autumn, people celebrated the tale of the Pumpkin Prince and the brave princess who freed him. The forest, once a place of trials, became a sanctuary of memories and magic. And so, the curse was lifted forever. Alder and Lyra ruled with kindness and unity, their story remembered as a testament to courage, compassion, and the light that grows when hearts stand together.